7 cities across Europe choose to become NEB lighthouse districts through a year. They committed not only to sustainability, inclusion, and beauty in principle, but to testing those values in real neighborhoods under real political, financial, and administrative constraints. This is therefore not only a vision story, it's a delivery story. Ayur was one of the first 6 NAB lighthouse demonstrators. That position came with responsibility. Our task was not to celebrate ambition, but to translate ambition to governance structures, procurement mechanisms, financing pathways, and measurable implementation strategies across very different municipal realities. We structure our work around eyes, hearts, hands. Eyes refer to spatial quality and aesthetics, hearts to inclusion, affordability, and social justice, hands to concrete implementation capacity. The key insight is integration. These dimensions cannot operate in parallel silos. They must reinforce one another institutionally. Within Work Package 4, we screened more than 300 regenerative and sustainable projects worldwide. 30 were selected through a structured technical, social, and financial evaluation framework. Many originated from the Living Future Certified Project Database, providing a decade of performance-based evidence to ground our selection. Beyond case analysis, we developed the decision support system. The DSS enables municipalities to combine technical options, financial models, and engagement strategies into structured decision pathways. Its purpose is simple but demanding: to translate NB values into operational, replicable choices within real institutional constraints. The project unfolded across 7 districts in 7 countries. Each operates under different administrative cultures, procurement laws, and political cycles. This diversity was not a complication. It was an asset, because when similar implementation patterns emerge across diverse contexts, the diagnosis gains structural credibility. Across these 7 contexts, one insight became increasingly clear. The challenge was not lack of ambition. Cities were motivated. Citizens were engaged. Technical solutions were available. The challenge was delivery, specifically how existing institutional structures interact with innovation. In Izmir, the demonstration district is embedded within an historic urban fabric. Archaeological discoveries and heritage protection requirements triggered procedural pauses and additional approvals. Innovation did not fail technically. It encountered the sequential logic of multiple public authorities operating under rigid compliance frameworks. Public procurement systems are structurally designed to minimize risk. They prioritize predictability, compliance, and procedural certainty. Regenerative transformation, however, requires managed experimentation, iterative learning, and tolerance for uncertainty. When these two institutional logics meet, friction becomes almost inevitable. Municipal administrations are built to avoid failure. Political accountability and public scrutiny reinforce risk aversion. Yet, transformation requires the capacity to learn, adapt, and occasionally recalibrate. Without institutional mechanisms that legitimize learning, innovation remains confined to pilot phases. In Hoya Tastrup, advanced energy community concepts were explored. Technical feasibility was demonstrable. The decisive factor was alignment across legal, administrative, and procurement departments. Implementation depended less on engineering capability and more on coordinated institutional orchestration. Across these energy community experiments, at least one local energy community successfully launched. In NEPI, public and private actors, including the municipality, aligned roles and responsibilities. This demonstrates that when governance coordination occurs, delivery accelerates and innovation stabilizes. In Sobrero, Maya co-design processes were strong and inclusive. Community participation generated ownership and social legitimacy. Importantly, collaboration continued beyond EUR through a spin-off initiative supported by the IT community NAB. Where institutional space exists, innovation expands rather than dissolves. When we step back and compare these cases, a pattern becomes visible. The primary barrier was not ambition, nor community engagement, nor technological capacity. It was institutional design. Our procedures, mandates, and incentives are structured within municipal systems. If institutional design is central, procurement reform becomes a design challenge in itself. Tender documents must reward integration, life cycle thinking, and social outcomes. They must allow iterative improvement while maintaining accountability. This requires rigor, clarity, and political courage. Encouragingly, institutional evolution is already visible. In OSICEC, NEB values were explicitly integrated into public tender documents. Beauty, sustainability, and inclusion became procurement criteria rather than abstract aspirations. This represents concrete policy adaptation within the project timeframe. Municipal capability should be treated as strategic infrastructure. Cross-disciplinary teams, lifecycle budgeting competence, and integrated evaluation tools are not secondary supports. They are structural enablers of transformation. Without capability investment, innovative frameworks cannot scale. Transformation scales when engagement translates into contractual mechanisms, when finance aligns with social and environmental outcomes, when procurement rewards integration, and when monitoring systems enable continuous improvement. Scaling is therefore an institutional condition, not merely a technical replication exercise. This is precisely when the NEB Academy is infrastructural. Capacity building is not peripheral to transformation, it is systemic. If we expect NAB principles to become mainstream practice, we must invest in the competencies that allow institutions to evolve. A year demonstrated that transformation is possible. The tools exist, the ambition exists, early institutional innovation is already visible. If the NAB is to move from demonstration to norm, it is time to advance to the next level, the level of institutional evolution shared by all of us in this room.